I met Dr. Gray in the history department, and he's writing his book on Johnson's Island, the Civil War prison, and he was going out for a class. He took 8 students on archaeological dig out there, and that's how we got started with ESU.
I was working on a book and I met an archaeologist doing a dig at the site named Dave Bush. With him and Marcia George, who was the educational coordinator, they helped us get this started here.
What I was impressed most by was not so much finding things, because we didn't find much. It was more this sense of community that evolved over time, over a week, because you just stand there for hours either sifting the dirt or just scraping it away. And so you get to know the person next to you really well.
For about 8 hours a day, we sifted, we troweled, we screened.
I spent 2 hours in a Civil War latrine with our provost, Van Reedhead, who was also interested in archaeology, and we were just scraping away dirt, talking to each other. It was really fun. So I wanted to sort of bring that back here somehow.
And we decided that through an educational outreach program, we come back here and we get the same type of project started in Lehigh Valley.
Well, actually, in the beginning of the school year, right in the beginning of the school year, my principal called me and another social studies teacher into her office, and Doug Blair and some of his other people were there, and they said, hey, we'd really like to do this. So, and they talked about the archaeological dig and getting students involved, first time and everything, and just showing them the way to do things, and that we would have a mock dig, and he said, who's interested? So at that point, both of us were, but when Doug started trying to set up meetings, the other teacher wasn't available for some of them, so Doug wound up doing it with one of my classes, and one of my favorite classes.
We did a simulated dig with the 7th graders in Allentown, and I also did it with my future teachers at ESU.
When we did the mock dig, there were artifacts buried by ESU students in the dirt, basically right outside my window, my classroom window. And the students had to do the regular dig, measuring it out, seeing how deep they were, putting artifacts in bags. But these were things, of course, buried by the ESU students. So we had a Burger King crown and clay tablets and a lacrosse goalie's something. I forget all the different things. But when we were done, there were 2 groups. They had to bag all their things like they're doing today for a real archaeological dig. And then they had to, over the course of a few weeks, analyze what that meant about that culture. So the culture that they unearthed.
We decided that if we did this well enough, then maybe we would try a real dig. So behind the scenes, we started going to different historical societies, trying to find out who might be interested in something like this. And the people at Governor Wolf Historical Association were really helpful and really interested. Nothing's been done here in a formal way. And then I knew that I also had to make contact with a professional archaeologist, and I was lucky enough to come across Chris Thompson.
Well, I was invited by Doug Lair, Dr. Lair from East Stroudsburg University, to help out with an archaeological excavation of the Governor Wolf Historical Society. We started off by test pitting last week to try and narrow down where some good areas might be to open up some full units with the kids, and miraculously we hit 3 good spots right in a row, which doesn't ever happen.
We showed them where we found the most concentration of artifacts, and again, metal artifacts, and then they scanned with their ground penetrating radar and did some test pits, and they found a lot of shards of pottery and a lot of other pieces of glass and everything else, so they were very happy with that.
We are excavating where we know there was an addition to a house that was torn down in the 1980s, I think, and we're finding all sorts of great stuff from early 19th century ceramics all the way up to a Latrobe's beer bottle from the 20th century.
We've been discovering a lot of nails, cut nails, some more modern wire nails, a metal hook, little pieces of ceramic. Some of them are broken off pieces of either plates or cups. And one of the pieces that really caught my eye was one that was a nice, vibrant blue color. And we also found some pieces of redware, which would be dated possibly to the early 1800s, late 1700s.
I guess this is finally the real dig. This is the culmination of about almost a year of planning, where we have the Harrison Morton middle school students coming with Doug Lair, who's a professor at ESU, and Mike Gray, who is a history professor at ESU. So the kids get a chance to actually do an archaeological dig at this Governor Wolf historical site in Bath. We have Chris Thompson, who's an archaeologist, who's leading it so the kids really learn the accurate procedures. Doug did do a simulated dig with him a few months ago, but this is the real dig. So in Doug's mind, this is the big dig. I think it's the real dig.
They are absolutely thrilled being out here. The common analogy used is, I want to be Indiana Jones. This isn't treasure hunting, this is more scientific and more of an exact science. But finding the pottery, and somebody just found a musket ball over there, metal detecting, they're so excited, and they could go back and tell their friends what they learned out here, but they're not learning. They're learning, but they don't understand that. They think this is fun. So they don't associate it with school, they're associating this with fun and learning. So it's great to have them out here on a Saturday and to really participate with community and stuff like that.
I think it's really fun and interesting because, like, you never know what you're gonna find. It's like, because it's always a surprise. It's like, this is a really old building and there's like lots of cool artifacts. It's just, I've never done it before and it's really cool.
I felt very excited that we were gonna be able to come here and learn more about our history, about how people used to live back then in the days where America just first got settled and stuff like that.
I think it's wonderful that they have all these children so involved in history. I don't know, it seems like historical places like this, it's all older people. Youngsters particularly aren't getting exposed to this kind of environment, to a historical society. So this is really good.
I think it's great. I think it's good for the kids. I think it's good for us as a museum. History can be so interesting if you can see things and feel things and what have you, and not just study a bunch of dates.
I think the greatest benefits to the students are that they actually are able to partake in an archaeological dig. We have these students that probably wouldn't have the opportunity to do so. There's a whole educational component with that, where you have these middle school kids working with East Stroudsburg University soon-to-be teachers. So they get a first-hand experience with working with them, but also partaking in a profession. It's interesting, and I'm not a professional archaeologist, I'm a historian, but I learned so much just through the process of listening to the archaeologists that are here.
My greatest hopes, my greatest expectations for the group of students that were here first, and I know they already enjoyed it and learned a lot from it, is that they take that, and as they go through high school into college, not only do they remember the experience, they apply what they've learned and the chance to do something new and different that they've never been engaged in and probably never would to their real life as they move ahead.
My hope for the day was that you'd have future teachers, you would have students, and you would have a lot of people from the Historical Society working together on one common project, and it's really panned out really well. They've gotten to know each other well. They've also seemed to cross the bridge between ages, and they're finding stuff. So it's been a good day.